This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by TouringPlans.com. And if you're looking to plan a trip to Walt Disney World, you don't want to wait in line a long time at any ride. Who doesn't, right? Then TouringPlans.com is your best resource to help you plan those trips to Disney World, because they're going to allow you to get you the information, tools, and plans to make sure that you avoid those long lines. That's right. They've got plans for every park and quite a number of scenarios, in fact, to let you avoid the lines and see everything you want to do without waiting in those really long lines. Check them out right now at touringplans.com.
Bringing the world to your world, this is Walt Disney World Today. Here are Mike Scopa, Len Testa, Mike Newell, and your host, Matt Hochberg.
It's Monday, June 6th, 2011, and this is episode 886 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudiosCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Introductory Guide to Walt Disney World. And today, Len, is June 6th, and it always reminds me of that day that Scopa went to France.
Yeah, on the boat.
Yeah. Waited. He said, you know what, let me out over here. I can wade in.
You know, the funny thing is the last time he was in an armada that big.
The Spanish really lost it?
No. Even before that, the invasion of Troy.
Agamemnon was always still mad at him for that.
Thank you.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Matt, normally I don't like to drop names, name drop, but
right.
I'm friends with the owner of Touring Plans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
work. I didn't know you were that friends with him.
Me and Henry are like.
You mean with the brains of the operation?
Also joins on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for alleears.net. Welcome, Mike.
All right, Testa, see if you can get this one.
Oh, God.
All right, Testa, come on.
Hiya, Kermit. It's Mickey.
No idea.
Anybody?
I'm going with
Meet the Muppets.
Review.
Nope.
I don't know.
Oh, I know what it is. It's Here Come the Muppets.
Here Come the Muppets.
I was close.
A long time ago.
Yes.
I don't even know what that is.
20 years ago. It was in the same building as, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, that Voyage of the Little Mermaid's in?
You're correct. Yeah, that's
Wow.
they were the full size characters. They would come out. It's like a stage show, and I refer to them as like linebacker Piggy, because she's like the size of a linebacker.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good show. Actually, a little bit of, if we may, a little quick diversion. Mike Newell, do you remember when we did the annual pass event for the Muppet annual pass event a couple years ago in studios?
Yes, I do.
Remember that video that we saw with Rolf?
Yes.
That was the pre-show for Here Come the Muppets.
Oh, right. That was awesome, that pre-show.
Yeah, it was great. They did this vaudeville act, and it was very.
It was a great attraction. It started off with a monorail breaking into the side of the wall on the left side of the stage. It was very good.
Here's a little bit of trivia for you, Scopa. The monorail mechanism, that delivered the monorail, they made it move, is the same mechanism that brings Ariel in today when she's on the rock, like that rock. That's the same thing. In fact, Casper told me that if you look behind it, which you can't do, but if you could, it still mentions the monorail on the back of it. And also joining us on today's show is the fabulous Annette Owens, a manager of customer relations and group services for MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Hey, nice to be here.
And take it away, Scopa.
Take it away. Well,
Go.
about a month or two ago, we started doing a series of podcasts in which we did not do any show prep. But one of us would come up with an idea, and we would not introduce it to the rest of the panel until we started recording. And we're about to do that on this show. So
Scared.
Here is what it is.
I'm a little scared.
Each of you has to do the following. Times are tough, and Walt Disney World needs to cut back. So you have been chosen to make a selection. You can go to any theme park, and you must remove an attraction. You need to tell me why you're going to remove it. Give me an explanation. Give me your criteria for removing it. We're going to go around the panel, and we're going to go in reverse alphabetical order by last name. And whoever picks a park, that park is then off the board. So I think we go with
Oh
Len.
my gosh.
We go
I'm
with
calling
Len
in sick
first.
now.
So we go Len first. So Len, you have the 4 parks at your disposal. You pick one of those parks. You pick an attraction that you want to close down. You need to tell me your criteria for doing that.
Okay, so let's take the easy one off the board. No one gets to call Stitch or Sounds Dangerous.
Oh.
Deal? Oh, please,
man.
please. Okay,
No,
I'm gonna take the moral high ground. I'm not gonna call Stitch. I'm gonna say Jungle Cruise.
Really?
Oh, wow.
And just leave it Stitch in.
I'm glad you went first.
Jungle Cruise.
Because here come the emails.
I know, right?
Yeah,
All right.
Len at touringplans.com.
Yeah, that's right, yes.
Exactly. So if I could close one attraction in any of the parks,
Oh, man.
other than Stitch is off the board, right? Because Stitch is the easy one. It'd be Jungle Cruise, and here's why. If you, it's a great attraction, no doubt, and I think it should.
It's great, but it's got to go.
Well, I think it should. I think it should survive in Disneyland. But if you look at how much real estate Jungle Cruise takes up on a map in the Magic Kingdom, and you look at the number of people who use it, it doesn't make sense to have that big of an investment in real estate for that relatively small, for a ride with that limited amount of popularity. I think they could do something else way bigger. An Indiana Jones type ride over there would be fantastic. I think actually a coaster is what's called for there. But they could do a whole lot more with that land than what Jungle Cruise is currently doing right now. They could probably put a full-blown coaster plus a sit-down restaurant there. And think of the theming that would be. The sit-down restaurant itself has tiki torches and exotic foods written all over it. I think Jungle Cruise is if I'm looking at this from a long-term perspective, and I'm not taking the cheap way out and just saying, oh, let's close that thing in Tomorrowland. I think Jungle Cruise is the last big piece of real estate left inside the current boundaries of the Magic Kingdom.
You don't think it's untouchable, Len, because it's a classic attraction?
No, it's not a museum.
They closed Mr. Toad.
Yeah, they closed Toad, but it lives in Disneyland, right? So, Mike, thank you. That's my exact point. As long as it lives somewhere,
Thanks
right?
for helping him.
It's sort of like when was it John Adams and Thomas Jefferson died? Adams said, "At least Jefferson lives" on his deathbed. As long as, ironically, Jefferson had died a few hours earlier. But whatever. But there's a little history lesson in the show. As long as one of them exists, we don't have to have two of them. It's like you need a hot spare, a backup in case one goes down.
Now that Jungle Cruise is off the board, let me just chime in. I think that you could almost make the same case for Tomorrowland Speedway, which I've often thought has a huge footprint.
Yep.
And I think of how many multiple attractions and or restaurants could take up that. So
Tomorrowland Speedway.
Yeah.
You saw when they closed part of it for the Fantasyland redirection, right? When they had to redo part of the how little it mattered.
But yet it still holds a big weight. It's still a popular attraction.
When was the last time you went on it?
Last November.
That would be when
December.
Reunion.
Yeah.
Okay, if it wasn't for your obligations to go on it, would you go on it?
No, I agree because it's way out of date. It's definitely not
Doesn't
green.
it pass?
It's
It's
not
not
only that.
green, exactly. If they put if you drove around electric Priuses, or something like that, that'd be so much better.
I would agree with the.
Back in the day, the kids didn't have all these power cars. You didn't have little cars you could ride in the yard and the Jeeps and the Barbie Jeeps and all that stuff.
I never had one.
That was their way to get behind the wheel and drive. Now, not so much the case.
Plus it's hot. Again, there's no fast pass.
Stinks.
It smells. Yeah. It's just it's another attraction whose time has come.
Okay, Ed Bigley Jr.
Exactly.
All right, let's.
No, if you excuse me, my composting toilet needs help.
We're gonna move over to Annette now. So Annette, Magic Kingdom is off the boards, and also Sounds Dangerous is off the boards too. So make your choice.
Okay, I am going to studios though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking out the backlot tour.
Ooh.
That's something that I feel like it's just they've already taken part of it away already.
Yeah.
And it does take up again, like Len was saying. There's quite a bit of space being used for that. that they might could readjust what they're doing back there in the back of the park. If we weren't trying to worry about where we were going to put, we might could have parking for the crew, for the cast members back there by the buildings instead of a tram going by. And maybe they could do something with the earthquake-like event that goes back there. I don't know, but it takes up a lot of space.
They could try and put actual studio or TV production back in the park.
No.
That might.
What a concept!
Maybe they should take Lights Motor Action off.
I thought that too. LMA.
Yeah.
Not worth it. I mean, it's not pulling in the crowds anymore either.
And it's huge. That thing is huge.
I mean, the animation building. That can go.
Well, I think Backlot Tours. I agree with Annette. I think that one's definitely one that because it's been so watered down over the years and cut back that because it's just a shell of its former self. Its time is coming. Because it takes up so much space, I mean, there's so many possibilities for that. And because the studios, unlike the other parks to some degree, probably the studios to the most degree has the least amount of land to work with, because you can't really expand all that much out because it's cut off by roads in two of the directions and you've got a lake in one direction. And, basically it's you can't really expand outward all that much. So, given that fact, you have to look at, what you've got inside the park's boundaries currently. And Backlot Express just takes up Backlot Tour takes up so much space that it makes perfect sense, and I agree. It's just not what it used to be. It's pretty lame, unfortunately. And if they're not going to bring back production, which I don't think is going to happen, then I think they should, give it the old bulldozer.
I think so. Let's Motor Action can go, animation can go, Voyage of the Little Mermaid can go. Great Movie Ride, not what it used to be. There's a lot of excess land in the studios.
Complete park redo. It's kind of half a park redo.
It could. Well, no. I don't know. Maybe it could use the DCA treatment.
Which one are you referring to? The one the $1 billion rehab?
Yeah,
right
exactly.
Now?
Where they put $1 billion into it and had a huge new ride, a huge new land, something like that.
Well, they've been adding a fairly amount of new attractions over the past couple of years. You've got Toy Story, American Idol, Star Tours now.
Star Tours is just as an uplift.
It's a new attraction. It's a new ride. You're riding a new ride that you didn't ride before.
It's a new film.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a new ride.
So it's not the same
that like
ride?
An upgrade.
It's not Rex riding.
Well, is Haunted Mansion is Haunted Mansion the same ride as it was before the two?
No, that was an upgrade. It's the same basic ride. It's the same basic thing. The whole plot is completely different now, Len.
I think there's a little bit of fanboyism creeping in here.
No,
Little?
No, I'm saying they've invested quite a bit in the park in the past couple of years. So from that standpoint, it's not as dire, I think, as California Adventures. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. All right, well, let's move on.
Mike Newell, you have the floor.
Oh, you know where I'm heading? I'm heading over to Epcot, my favorite park, by the way, and I'm bulldozing Mission Space by
baby.
Botox, baby.
I'm with you. Where's my shovel?
And you know what? I'm looking at my options here. I'm looking at the different maps. And Mike, I can only go back to what you said about would Walt Disney would he have approved of that attraction and the fact that not everyone could go on it or would want to go on it. Not forget the whole Horizons thing, but the whole fact that, even before they dumbed it down a little bit, it was just too intense and just too much. So I think that he would have hated it. And that for that fact alone is why I would choose Mission Space.
The funny thing is that there's that whole corner of Future World, Mission Space, Wonders of Life, Universe of Energy. Unless we're doing it for some event. When was the last time you said, what, I really got to go on Universe of Energy because I haven't been on it forever?
That has a purpose. I could see Energy, but Wonders of Life, it's just so sad to watch. It's sad to walk past it. You could see they're not taking care of the exterior of the building. It's getting dirty, and it really needs some work. It's just sad to see.
It's just a dead area. Yeah, that area over there's just kind of dead.
Yeah, and knowing what it was at one time.
You need a quiet spot in the park for a nap. You know where to go.
Don't laugh. I had to make a very important phone call. I went right to a bench that sat right in front of Life, and I just sat there. It was the quietest spot in the whole park.
Yeah.
Here's a question for Len. Len, is from what you've seen activity wise, is Test Track more popular than Mission Space?
Is Test Track more popular than Mission Space? Let me check the survey results. I'm almost positive it is. But
I still see lines for
Test Track.
Test Track, but I don't see the lines in Mission Space as much.
Yeah, I would guess that would be the case.
Not of late, anyway. I mean,
The attraction I had on my list was actually Circle of Life in the Land Pavilion.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good point.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Let's see. So it's Mission Space. Let me see. Mission Space.
And that is Matt. Is that because it's aged? You think, or
It's aged. It was never that good, and I don't think it draws anybody. I mean, really,
It's just a movie. Yeah.
yeah, it's a movie, and it'd be an easy fix. I mean, you could put something if you want to put. I think it's commendable to have a conservation message being given, but it's
that's
just
what I don't understand. The easiest things to fix are the movies, are the films. Put a new 3D film in where
Yeah.
Captain EO is.
Well, the problem is they don't charge money for tickets to get into Circle of Life.
Yeah,
No, I know, but I mean
why.
that's an
There's
easy
there's
fix.
I know there's no. Yeah, right. Yeah.
but it's the
There's
easiest one.
direct-
Newell's point is that if you're going to invest money, if you're going to take your money that you have a pot of money in your budget, you would think the easiest ways to keep your park fresh and new would be to replace films, right? Because you do a new attraction, like you build like Mission Space, right? $100 million. You build even Toy Story Midway Mania, which probably cost maybe $50 million, $75 million, somewhere in that ballpark. I mean, that's a considerable amount of change. But do a film, what's it going to cost you?
Yeah, even if it's
Maybe
$10 million.
10,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I don't think doing a film costs $2 million. Scope, but to your question, Test Tracker is way more popular than Mission Space. Mission Space averages like 3.5 stars. 3.5, 3.75
Wow.
stars. Test Track's like 4.5.
See,
So-
yeah.
So, Miss Newell's selection has been justified.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is
And
there
now-
anything in World Showcase that we would remove?
Yeah, I'd get rid of that refreshment hub over where Africa should have been,
Yeah.
and do
just-
something.
What would you
Pointless.
put there?
Yeah, it's just odd.
Well, it's odd because
What would
there's nothing there besides
Right.
a soda fountain. So I would put Africa in there. I mean, that was the whole point.
that's true.
India. Yeah.
Something. That's a perfect spot too. I mean, I don't know what's behind it. I've never actually seen, an aerial view of it.
I think Jim was it 1989. I think Jim Hill showed me some artist conceptions of like the Taj Mahal. They had a Taj Mahal
Yeah.
attraction or India attraction that was on paper, but that never came through.
Yeah. It's a shame.
All right, we're going to go over to Mr. Hochberg, who's got his favorite park, Animal Kingdom left. All right, Matt.
All right, the one that actually I was thinking about this, and I was trying to figure out an attraction, and it actually came to me after I was thinking about it for a little while. The Oasis in Animal Kingdom, it definitely needs to go, and I'll tell you why. I've become a big fan of SeaWorld in Orlando, and I'll tell you why I've become a big fan of SeaWorld and why I think SeaWorld is a better park for the animal aspect than the Animal Kingdom is. And what really draws me to SeaWorld is the animal interaction factor and the cool animal interaction factor. And the Oasis has what I like to call boring animals. It has ducks and, cousins of pigs, like swine of some sort or another. Just boring animals like parrots. Like, I just don't care. They're not interesting. I have no desire to stop and see them. And to make them that kind of a center of attention is silly because the animals we really want to see are the ones that are obviously on the in the safari, right? Kilimanjaro. We all love seeing a shot of the elephant or the tiger or the lion. Well, the tiger's not on there, but you know what I mean. And but the thing is, what I like about, you go to SeaWorld, you walk in. One of the first things you can do is you can go right up. There's a little area, an attraction for dolphins. You can walk up and you can pet dolphins straight up. Just you walk up there. I mean, you have to keep your hand. There are rules like where you can put your hand and everything like that. But you can have interaction like that. They have a stingray little pool, and you can do the exact same thing. There's sea lions. You could feed the sea lions. Like these things. Like imagine Disney took that kind of a concept and put that in the Oasis and Animal Kingdom, and that kind of level of interaction is something I would love to see in Animal Kingdom. And I really want to see Disney take out these what I call boring animals and put animals we want to see, and B, allow us the guests to interact with them, because I think that really makes it a much more interesting experience, a more educational experience, and frankly a more compelling experience. And if I'm seeing you see the dolphins at SeaWorld and you're like, wow, these things are great, I feel like I make more of a connection with them, and therefore I think I'd be more wanting to provide for their protection in that, carrying that message, if you will.
So, Matt, if you had a choice, would you get rid of the Oasis or would you get rid of Dinorama?
Dinoland was an easy target, and I could have picked that one. I just wanted to go for something a little different. And frankly, I think the biggest problem with Animal Kingdom is that because, they're saying they're not a zoo, and, they're trying to get that whole animal aspect. I think the animal thing is the number one issue for me. And Dinoland is I hate, and we've talked about that at length on this show, and I think we all agree with that. It's just, I wanted to go for something a little different, a little bit of a curveball. But yeah, I would agree. I mean, trust me, if I had a list, that would be high up on my list as well, because the whole Dinoland thing, I do not enjoy that at all.
Thank you all.
I was going to say one thing about the animals. Have you walked through the paths behind the Tree of Life in Discovery Island?
Yeah, those are pretty cool, and they're pretty
Those are nice.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I went with Matt Pizzula brought me there one day, and it was a really, really cool thing. But again, there's too little of that. There's too little. It's cool, but again, not that the interaction thing really makes a difference to me. And it's not like when you're going to, again, I have to bring up SeaWorld. At SeaWorld, you can interact with them. It's not like you're just looking at them like you're looking at a zoo, right? Like, oh, look, there they go. Like you're swimming, like in Living Seas Pavilion, like you can see dolphins, but you're behind glass and you're watching them. It's a passive experience. So that's what I really liked about it.
Unless you pay extra money, then you can interact with them.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, they do have the tours, but I haven't done any, so I can't comment on it. But I'm not aware that it's. I mean, how much interaction are you doing? Are you actually able to feed them, or is it like you can watch someone else feed them?
I think. I don't know.
I don't know. I know they had they had the Sunrise Safari, which I think is gone now because they replaced it with the Wild Africa Trek. But they have other things you can do safari stuff. But I don't know, so I'm not going to comment on that. But
no comment.
Did anyone else have anything else in Len? What was your Animal Kingdom guess if that was going to be your park?
Yeah, Dinoland is the obvious choice. I don't know that Dinosaur draws the crowds that it used to, and so I love the setting of the attraction.
Uh-huh.
It's leafy,
Jurassic Park-ish.
It was not even that. It's not. I mean, it sets the right mood, and I like the wandering path that you can take from the exit of the attraction over to Dinoland. But I don't think that attraction again is a great use of the land. I mean, you've got a restaurant right across from it. You've got restrooms right there. It's a great setting. I just don't think the ride lives up to the potential of the area.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Very good. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Don't forget this episode of WDW Today is been sponsored by touringplans.com. And if you're looking to go to Walt Disney World and you want to avoid those parks we just mentioned, those attractions we just mentioned, rather, touringplans.com is going to have the touring plans for you. If you're looking, maybe you've got young children and you want to have a touring plan that caters to them. You want to see and be able to see all of their favorite attractions. There's a touring plan for that. Perhaps you're going with a large family. You need to have a touring plan that accommodates all of them. Absolutely. They've got one for that. They've got touring plans for, half day touring plans. They've got touring plans for different times of the year, like Food and Wine Festival, and when the crowds are really packed in there, like during Christmas week, perhaps. There's lots of different options to choose from. Go check them out right now at touringplans.com. To find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit us online at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Sopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.